Simon Says Home Assistant live stream. If anyone is online, just give me a sound check just to make sure that you can hear me. Looks like my sound is all working, but if you can just give me some feedback, that would be fantastic. Now, welcome. It is a Sunday morning here in New Zealand. It's a bit chilly, but it's a beautiful sunny day. Now, today, I've got a slightly different live stream for you. Today, we're going to be installing or building the Pironman 5 Raspberry 5 case. And this is something that was sent to me, thankfully, from Sunfounder. Really appreciate it. This is not a sponsored video, so I'm going to give you my true and honest thoughts about this device. We're going to have a look and see how it goes together. I did install a previous version of these, and it was a great tool. This is an upgraded version. They've now included a dual NVMe slot. So, yep, this should be fun. But while we're doing this, welcome, Bobby, your first mate. Welcome on board, and great to have you with me on the stream today. Now, I'm going to be doing the build-up of this little device, but I am also going to be answering your questions, and we're going to be talking about smart home and specifically Home Assistant stuff while I'm at building this little device. So I'm going to open the box and get working on it. They are quite fiddly. There's lots of different little pieces inside here. So, yep, I'll be focusing on that. But at the same time, I'll be checking out your comments, and we will be chatting everything smart home. This week for me has been pretty cool. I've been playing with the Everything Presence 1 sensor from Lewis. I don't know if any of you guys have tried that or what presence sensors you are using, but it's a pretty cool device, and I've got that running in my smart home. Yep, really great. Anyway, let's get into this. I'm going to switch cameras, so you're going to be looking at the down view onto my desk here. I've got my Raspberry Pi over here, Pi 5. Good afternoon, Raspberry. Welcome, your second. Great to have you here. And of course, first we had Bobby. So welcome, guys. Great to have you with me. Slightly different live stream today. We're going to be building this little pack, or this little mini PC, or mini, what will we call it? A mini PC case for a Raspberry Pi 5. Now, this is the new one. I have built the previous model, but we're going to be playing this and doing a bit of a different live stream today. So, Raspberry, I'm doing incredibly well, thank you. It's been a great week. I've been super busy at my main job, but it has been a good week, and of course, playing around with Home Assistant as always. So, we're opening up this case, and we're going to have a look at what we've got inside. Now, the first thing you pull out is the instruction guide. Now, normally, I'm not someone that likes playing with reading instructions, but trust me, with this, you do need to reading. Bobby's asking, are people still using Raspberry Pi for Home Assistant? Well, according to the survey that I did, Bobby, 40% of people are using a, well, let's actually check quickly and see what that number was. Let's go quickly here and just check to see, because I did a survey. Now, I'm not saying that everyone is watching my channel and responding to this one, but let's have a look, see how many people responded and what the percentages were. Let's go over here to the posts, and the response was, let's have a look here. Frigate, where was that little survey that I ran? Frigate, yeah, we know people are using Frigate. New and used, where is that survey that I ran now? Oh, there we go. All right, 42%, it's grown by 2%. 42% are using mini PCs, but there's still 26% of people using Raspberry Pi, 10% on yellow and green, and 22% on virtual machines. So yeah, there we go. 42% or 26% are still using Raspberry Pi. I think it's still a great option for people that are beginners at Home Assistant. It is the easiest way of getting it running if you're not going for a preloaded system. like a something like obviously a green or a yellow. Rosby saying, good to hear. It's just really hot in Arizona, been in the 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So we just hide in air conditioning and play with our Home Assistant stuff on the weekends. Yeah, well, it's the opposite here. It's 5 degrees here in Auckland this morning. So it's a bit of a chilly one. But yeah, I'm not too bad. I've got my blanket over my knees like a nana. And yeah, we're going to be playing with building a Pironman 5 case today. So feel free, join along with me, ask any questions, chat, and let's have some fun. All right, so these are the instructions that they give you. So what I'm going to do is first of all pack some of these items out. They've got these acrylic little covers, and first thing you need to do is get the paper off these acrylics. This can be a little bit tricky sometimes. Let's just see if we can get this to start so we can reveal this beautiful acrylic underneath here. There we go. We've got it started. There we go. You can see they've got a lovely black, dark acrylic cover on here. And yep, it's awesome to have everyone. Feel free, let's chat while we're going, while I'm busy with this, guys. Feel free, fire up any questions you might have in the chat. What have you been doing with Home Assistant this week? I am still loving playing with my using the wrong words on porpoise. Welcome. Hi there, and welcome to the live stream. I hope you're enjoying this. This is something different today. We're building Pironman 5 case. But yeah, welcome everyone. It's great to have you guys with me as always. We'll be switching between the two cameras so you can see what I'm up to over here. So just removing the paper on these acrylic. You can see it's got a lovely black acrylic there. Look at that. Quite awesome. Okay, let's just switch you back there again to my top down. So that's one of our covers. Then we've got a whole lot of little connectors in there. We've got some of these. We've got the power switch and the little ribbon connectors. Some more ribbon connectors. We've got the fans. So it's got a dual RGB fan. These are pretty awesome, these fans. Ice cube fans. They light up and they are quite quiet as well. Then for cooling the main CPU, we've got this is a ice cube. I don't know if you've played with these, but the cooling on these is pretty phenomenal. The beauty about the Pi 5 is that it does allow you to actually control the fan speed from the Pi, which is pretty awesome. On the Pi 4, it just turned it, I think it turned it on and off, or maybe not even, maybe just ran permanently. But certainly with the new one, you've got the control. Now on my Pi 5, I've already got this connected from the last kit, so I'm not going to worry about replacing the old one with the new one. I'm going to leave that on the Pi. So we'll just place that to one side. We've got lots of little nuts and screws and things over there. Nice thing with these kits, they give you some screwdrivers. I've got my little power screwdriver here. It just makes things a little bit easier. Then what have we got here? I think this is something to do with, yeah, the power, the switch converter. We've got here the, what's that, HDMI. Nice thing about these is they make full-size HDMI converters for you, so you don't have to fiddle around with those tiny little cables. All right, Raspberry is saying, in the UK, 37 degrees Celsius, too hot and humid to breathe. Wow, you guys are having it hot. Yep, I was just chatting earlier to someone in France, and they were saying it is boiling over there. So this is our dual NVMe. This is the great thing about this device, is that it's got a dual NVMe case. That is our SD card slot, because you can't reach the current one on the Pi. We've got a little spanner over there. This is our Pironman 5 hat. That's the hat. And then we have another piece of acrylic over here. Bobby is just saying, multitasking, DIDHA, got rid of the weather add-on. Oh, really? Did they get rid of it? I don't know. Weather, maybe you're joking. I'm not quite sure. The one that shows the weather in your area. Yeah, that is a funny one, Bobby. They do seem to have got rid of it. Um, yeah, I don't know why it's not working anymore. I don't know if it was something to do with connecting to local areas or something, but yeah, my one doesn't seem to be showing anymore. All right, so there's our case. As you can see, it's a nice, I don't know if that's anodized or spray painted. It feels like it's anodized. It's a really nice black case, and I noticed that the two pieces have come connected, which is quite nice. The previous kit, you had to connect these, but here it's pre-connected. Then we've got our other little case over here. So that's another piece of acrylic. Let's have a look here. This is our next piece of acrylic. We'll see if we can get this coming off here. This is a little bit tricky. You need to get your nails in there to get these acrylics to come off. Really great to have you all with me. Hope you're enjoying this slightly different live stream today. It's the first one I've done actually doing something along with chatting to you guys and answering your questions. So let me know what you think of this type of live stream. I was sent this and I thought it'd be good just to, instead of me fiddling around putting it together on my own, have you guys along with me to help out, because it can be a reasonably slow process putting them together. So there we go. You can see we've got another piece of black acrylic. You can see it's nicely, it's got a cutout of the actual Pironman 5 name like that. Look at that. That's pretty awesome. I do like the look of these kits. They look super stunning. All right. So following along here with me in the instructions, the first thing is to assemble these pieces over here. Beauty of this, it's come pre-assembled. So there we go. Okay, they're saying you need to disassemble it. Here I thought I was scoring a bonus by having it assembled, but you have to actually disassemble that. So we'll fire up the little power screwdriver and we will start by disassembling this. Definitely, these little screwdrivers are great. This is just a cheap one I bought off Ali. I can leave a link in the description if you guys like it. I do quite like it. It was pretty cheap. I think it was like US dollars, maybe $25, $30. It's got a little screen on it. It's got a battery inside. Got a whole lot of tips. It doesn't do very tight nuts, but it's quite good for these sort of small jobs like this. Okay. So we've got it loose, and what we're going to start off is by fitting these M2.5 by 8 standoffs. So we'll need to find those over here, and this is the tricky bit with these kits, is finding the right pieces and hopefully not losing any of the pieces along the way. So let us have a look at what we've got in here. I'm pretty sure these are going to be the nuts that I need. Right, so I'm looking for some standoffs. We're looking at M2.5 by 8. All right, they're nicely labeled. There we go, 2.5 by 8 standoffs. We'll pull those out. There's 4 of those, and we're going to be using 3 of them over here. So we'll need some of these little screws. There we go, 2.5 mil screws. Those should be the ones. Great to have you guys with me on this little of a job that I'm playing around with today. Okay, so let's have a look. We've got the 3, so it's that way. So we've got to put 3 standoffs in. Now, having a look at this, it's a little bit tricky because we've got 3, but we've got 2 holes there. And they're only showing 1 hole. So which of those holes is it going in? Well, I'm sure we will find out soon. So let's get our little 2.5s. And this is a bit tricky, is getting the screw. So we'll just get the screw in the bottom here. There we go. We'll stick that in there. And the little standoff just screws on the back quite easily like that. We get another screw out here. Now this is what I'm a little bit confused about. On my drawing it shows 1, but here we've got 2. So we'll just choose one of these 2. I'll go in the closer one. We'll see what happens. We might have to move that, but we'll get our second standoff in over there like that. Okay. And then our third one is going, it looks like, this is very confusing. I have no idea where these standoffs are going because there's so many holes and there are, oh, well, we'll try it. We'll try it over here. Let's just go over here. I think that's where that one goes. So we'll stick that in like that. It's a little bit of a fiddly job, but it is quite fun. It's like putting together a Meccano set or a Lego or something like that. You've got to be good at following instructions. And yeah, I'm reasonably good at that. I'm actually better at following instructions like recipes than when I don't have instructions. That's when I really struggle, especially with cooking. Although setting up smart home devices, I don't like using instructions. But I've learned with these little goodies, you have to follow the instructions. So we'll just, I think this is the right place for this one. There we go. Right, so we've got those three standoffs. We'll just tighten these up over here. There we go. We'll just tighten these up quite nicely over there. All right. So we've got our first three standoffs in there. All right, what is our next step? 1, 2, 3. Step number 3 is to get some M2.5 by 5s. So let's have a look here. 2.5 by 5s. There they are. Going well. Haven't lost anything yet, so that's good. Feel free in the chat. Let us know what you're doing with your smart home this week or anything else you'd like to chat about. Okay, so the next step is we've got those. I think the next step is to put the one in over here. So we'll stick that in over there. Try not to lose anything here. So these are the shorter standoffs. So we'll screw those in like that. One there. Okay. Where's our next one? Our next one seems to be over here. So we'll stick that one in over here. There we go. Nice and neatly. We'll get our next short standoff. We'll stick that in over there like that. These standoffs are pretty easy to connect up. Just give them a little bit of a screw in just by finger tight. And then our next one, I'm assuming, is going in over here. All right. We've got another standoff. There we are. And we will get that one in. So what else is happening on your guys' side? What's your latest smart home device that you bought? Has anyone bought anything interesting? We had an interesting catch-up yesterday. All right, let's just, before I talk too much, let's see what we've got to do now. So we've got the standoffs in. So that's a good start. Although I'm thinking I might have done something wrong already. It looks like the short standoff. That is a bit of a funny one. I've got 3 short ones. 1, 2, 3. Or they're 4. Okay, well, let's just leave that for now and see what's going to happen. All right, so next we're going to grab our little Raspberry and we're going to use the extender. So this is the extender for the SD card. Now, luckily, I've put one of these together before because the first time around, you've really got to concentrate. Second time around, you don't have to concentrate quite as hard because you've done it before. So let's have a look. Here is our little extender for the SD card. So we're going to open that little guy up. All right, we'll just rip it off there. Come on. There we go. Rip that off. It's playing a bit of, there we go. All right. So this is our SD card extender. This little guy goes onto the end of our Raspberry Pi to basically extend the SD card in the slot. All right, so micro SD card slot goes in there. All right, so we stick that in there like that. There we are. We stick that in. All right, there we go. So we've got our SD card slot in there. Next, we've got our mini HDMI adapter. All right, let's grab the mini HDMI adapter. That's this one over here. And we're going to stick that in the next slot. All right, So this one goes in, just get rid of this little foam over there. Right, and our mini SDI basically goes on to this side over here. So that just slots in there into the two mini HDMIs and the power. Okay, just push that in nice and slowly. Be careful not to damage anything as you're pushing it in. There we go. It seems to have gone in. All right. So there we go. The next thing we're looking for is the battery button. All right. Now, I'm not sure if that needs to go in there a little bit more. I just don't want to damage anything. That's the only thing when you're fiddling with these is you don't want to damaging anything. So hopefully that is in far enough. Let us have a look. Yeah, I think that might be in far enough. Okay, so we've got that in. Next, we're looking for the button battery. Anyone see the button battery? Where might that be hiding? All right. Somewhere or another, we should have a battery. There we go. It's in this little bag over here. As I mentioned earlier, the big thing is not to lose anything here. Don't want any extra pieces at the end of this little project. There's our button cell. So this is a little timer backup button battery. Sorry, I haven't been noticing all your comments, guys. I now know who to ask when I can't put together. Trust me, I make some absolute nightmares with IKEA furniture. This is in a way easier because the big problem for me with IKEA furniture is when I actually go along and start screwing the little bits in, and then I screw them too far and they rip the little the wood itself. Oh, and then it's knackered and you can't do anything with it. So no, please don't ask me for do your IKEA furniture. How do Raspberry Pi 5s compared to PC i5? No comparison at all. I've upgraded to the i5 and it is day and night. It's about a 9-year-old Lenovo i5 with 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of SSD. It is light years, probably 10 times faster. So if you can get, and it was cheaper than a Pi 5 as well, believe it or not. You can pick up some really good ones. I just did a little survey and I discovered that most people are buying used ones. 60% of people are buying used ones rather than buying new mini PCs. So really worth it. Go for a mini PC. All right. Raspberry is saying, I've been having a lot of issues with my Zigbee network, mostly due to my adapter. So I've been doing a lot of stuff with Bluetooth proxies. Sorry, let me carry on with your message there. A lot with Bluetooth proxies devices. They seem comparable. Yes, I agree with you. Bluetooth proxy is fantastic. I think it's a real underrated part of smart home technologies. I love Bluetooth. The reason I like Bluetooth is a lot of the Bluetooth devices, they're just sending a signal out the whole time, and Home Assistant is picking it up via the Bluetooth proxy. And literally, the beauty is there's nothing disconnecting or failing, whatever. It's just polling and pulling it in. So I agree with you totally. But I must admit, my Zigbee has been pretty good recently. What Bluetooth devices do you have? So Bluetooth, I've got all my, what are they called? Smart SwitchBot devices are pretty much all Bluetooth. I have some soil sensors Bluetooth. Bluetooth is pretty good. Although some of the Zigbee stuff I've been playing with recently from Third Reality is really simple and really good as well. I've only got a couple of Bluetooth sensors, but my proxy keeps picking up next door neighbor's toothbrush. Yeah, I bought one of those toothbrushes, Oral-B. Trust me, don't waste your time. They're great for a while, but it's a bit of a... anyway, it died after a while, so I wasn't impressed at all. All right, let's get back and let's see if we can get this little button cell to go in positive down. So we'll just clip that in there, probably the other way. We'll get our little battery to go in there. There we go. We've got our backup timer battery. All right, next up we want the little 4-pin header. I think that might have been in the same pack somewhere as the battery. See if we can find it here. There is a little 4-pin header somewhere here. I'm sure I saw the 4-pin header. There we go. There it is, my 4-pin header. All right. We'll grab this and we'll stick the 4-pin header on. All right. So we've got our 4-pin header. And the 4-pin header, where's that going to go? 4-pin header is going to go over here. Now, is there a specific way that it goes, or can it go any way? Looks to me like it might be any way it likes. 4-pin header. Yep, let's just stick it on there. See if it's going to go on there like that. There we go. Our little 4-pin header is on. Okay. Next up, we're going to get a tiny little cable, little jumper cable somewhere here. If we can find that little jumper cable anywhere. This is the problem. So many small little parts that can get lost. Here we go. Oh, no, that's the, yes, there it is. It's in there. All right, so this is the power button, but it's also got a little jumper cable in here. There we go. There's 2 of them, actually. So this little jumper cable is going to connect from there to there. Okay, so we're going to put the jumper cable. Jumper cable needs to connect from that one to this one on this side. Okay, so to the one that's closest, because there's 2 of those jumpers there. So we're going to get this. It looks like it only goes one way, so it should be all right. It's a little bit tricky now having this little cooling fan on top here and getting this in, but there we go. That's in there. And then we will go on the other side and click this one in. It's got to go the right way. It can only go one way. So there we are. We got our jumper cable. All right, fantastic. All right, what is next? Okay, so we've finished page 1. Yay, guys. No, we've got one more thing. We've got a little one of these to go. So one of my favorites, the little ribbon cable. Right, so to do the ribbon cable, you got to flip this up. I think, let's just see. We've got to flip this. There we go. That flips up there like somehow. So they flip it up, you slide it in, then you press it down. Okay, so what you do, you got to make sure that you got this the right way around though. So always make sure that the cable connectors are on the right side. Now I'm assuming, yeah, the cable goes in with the cable, the connector side in that way. All right. So we just flip that in over there. Come on. This is a little bit fiddly because you see I've got my cooling fin in, but I'm going to get it in. I'm determined. All right, let's try. Now, it's been a real pain because I've got this cooling fan on here. That's probably why they tell you to put the cooling fan on later, because they know what a mission this is with when the cooling fan is on. Come on, let's see. There we go. Right. It's in there. Now all I've got to do is push this down on each side. And there we go. My cable is connected. Yay. Okay. That was easier than I thought. All right. So we're done with page 1. Well done, guys. Fantastic. Appreciate your support in watching me, not leaving me to do this on my own. All right. So number 10 is to get this guy into the case. All right, so we'll pull our little case over here that we've been working on. All right, and now what we need to do is we need to get this to fit in here. So let's see which way it goes. All right, so it looks like that goes to the back, that goes to the side. Yep, and these are going to sit on all their standoffs. So we've got all the standoffs in there. All right, so now the time will tell to see whether the standoffs are in the right position. Okay, so let us check this out. So we've got that, we've got that. Okay, so the reason we've got lower ones here, over here, is that we've got these that have come in. So we just got to make sure that that is nicely positioned there. So that's going to fit on there on the lower standoffs. Then this one is going to go over there. That's fine. And I'm not quite sure what the reason is that they've got a lower standoff on that side over there. That's very odd. Because if you look here, these three are lower. These two are lower. These three, no. Those three are lower there. Those are the lower standoffs, all right? And then these three are the higher standoffs. So if I look at the way that this fits on here, I can see why those two would be lower, because they've got this little thing that is making them lower. But this one over here, I cannot see why that would be lower. As far as I can see, that should be a higher one. So I'm actually going to go back. Let's just check here what it said there. 1, 2, 3. No, it's definitely... wait a minute. Wait a minute. I know where I've gone wrong now. This is supposed to go the lower one, if we can find it. There's the higher one. Let's just check that lower one again. So if we look at our positioning, we've got 1, 2, 3 tall stand-up ones. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 shorties. So this tall one is supposed to go to the back. That's going to fix it. So the tall one, we're going to shift this one back over here. We'll get that in there like that. All right. We'll get that guy in there. There we are. All right. And then we actually need another small one. Do I have another small one here? That is very interesting. I can't seem to find the other small standoff. How many small standoffs were there? There were 2.5s. There were 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 little ones. So somewhere or another, I've lost one of these small little standoffs. Can any of you guys see that little standoff? There we go. There's a whole lot of them. Here's me being silly. All right. So there's another small one, another short one, a 2.5. We'll get another screw, and we'll get that one sorted in there like that. So we'll stick that in there, and we'll be there. There we go. So it goes in there. We put another short little standoff. There we go. We'll just tighten up all these standoffs on the back here quickly, just to make sure that they're all nice and tight. We'll just hold them at the back like this, and we'll just use a little power driver just to make sure that these are all nicely screwed in and that they're not going to fiddle around later. Right. So we'll just tighten these. Okay, there we go. I think we've got that all sorted now. All right. So Bluetooth and Zigbee. Big discussion between Bluetooth and Zigbee. I must agree with you. Bluetooth for me is great, but Zigbee is also great. Just a matter of getting a controller, getting it working properly. There we go. That's all lining up really nicely now. I'm impressed with that. Okay. So now what we've got to do, we've got our little guy in there. We can switch over to the back here now that I've got those standoffs sorted. 10 is to screw that in. Okay, so when we're screwing this one in, we need to basically screw this in with standoff screws. Okay, so these are the standoff screws over here. So we need to use these. Are they all the same size? M2.5 times 18 plus 4 of them, and then 2 small screws. Okay, so the standoff screws are going to go down the bottom there. All right, so they're going to go on this section over here. All right, so we get that in there. That sits nicely there, and then we need to get our standoff screws to fit in there. So let's see if they're going to work. We'll just line it all up here nicely. There we go. It's all lined up. We'll get our first one in, and that will hold things for our next lot. So there we go. We've got our first standoff screw in there. We want to put our next one, and then everything will be nice and steady once we've got two of them. Let's see if the second one's going to go in as easy as what the first one went in. We're getting there. Just get that little thread to bite into there. Oh, come on, a little bit tricky. I'll try one of these on this side first. Might be a little bit easier. Let's turn it around so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get this standoff screw in over there. All right. Let's see if we can get my fingers around this. It's being a little bit fiddly. There we go. It's almost in. I think it's bitten. There we go. It's connected. All right. So our next standoff is in. We'll just tighten that up. All right. It's coming together nicely. How many of you guys have built full-size PCs? I've never actually built a PC myself, but this is a lot of fun. This is the second one of these that I've built, and these are really cool. But at some stage, I would actually like to build a proper PC as well, so I can say I've built one. All right, so we've got another one of these standoffs to go in over here. That's going in quite easily, just like that. All right. Right, so there we go. We've got our next. So we've got those three standoffs. Oh, four standoffs, is it? 1, 2, 3. Where do those two go? Ah, okay. I think this standoff actually goes at a lower one over here. So this one, you can see in the picture over here that it looks like that one and that one, and then a small screw. So we're going to take a small screw and we're going to stick it in these ones. Would it be there? Maybe not. What type of screw is that? In 2.5 times 4. 3.5. Is it these ones? The 2.5 times 4? Maybe it is. Let's see if they're going to fit in there and whether they're going to reach down. Oh, yeah, it looks like they are. All right, that's okay. Let's just check if that guy's going to go in there, if he's going to bite. No, it's not. Yes, it's biting. There we go. I thought that maybe wasn't going to fit through there, but it has fitted perfectly. Now, this is a bit odd. I thought this was a lower one, but it's actually not the right position there. All right, well, let's put our next one here. Sure, we'll sort this out. So we're going to get our next screw in. We're going to stick that in over there. This is where I really need some tweezers, and I did have tweezers, but can I find them? That is the question. Where are my tweezers? Nobody knows. Okay, back to the drawing board. Let's just get back to this. All right, so we'll stick this little guy in over here. There we go. Our second screw is in there. All right, that's nice and tight. Okay, and then we're going to get our stand-ups. Now, where are our stand-ups going? No, that should have been a standoff, should it? Standoff, standoff. Okay, sorry, this one comes out. This is meant to be a standoff over there. So we're going to have a standoff fitting over here. Just like that. Is that right? Yep, looks like it. And another standoff is going to go on this side over here, on the other side of the Raspberry Pi there. Almost got it in there. There we go. I can feel it biting. Yay. Well, 39 minutes and streaming. And we've got the Pi sitting there looking quite pretty. All right, optional for camera mode. So I don't have a camera, so I'm not going to worry about the camera mode. All right, now, next up, it's talking about, okay, so this part I've already done. It's got these little thermal pads. So in general, you would stick the thermal pads on the three components. I think it's the memory, it's the actual chip, and another piece. You put these thermal pads on, and then you connect the tower cooler. So mine's already connected. The reason I didn't want to take it off is that is quite well connected in there, and getting it off, I thought I might damage my Raspberry Pi, so I've left it on there. Okay. Now, I think I've made a mistake here, but I'm not going to go back and change it. I think this was meant to be one of the long standoffs instead of the short ones, so I'm going to leave that screw out for now it feels reasonably robust without it. Okay, so 11 is done, 12 is done, 13. Now, we've got another piece on the side here, insulation piece. Okay, that's interesting. We didn't have that on the last one, but obviously this one is slightly different. So let's see if we can find our insulation piece. Insulation, 1, 2, 3 thermal pads. Insulation. Do you guys see any insulation here? I don't see any. All right, let's see. Mr. Super Sidewinder, a Super Pi 5 case. Yeah, that is the one. Super Pi 5, and I'm having a lot of fun. It is my second one of these that I'm doing, the Pironman case, so I'm a lot more easygoing than what I was the first time. All right, I'm off to bed, nearly midnight here. I don't think I'm going to miss any magic blue smoke, but I'll check the recording. Good one. Thanks for joining in. It has been a pleasure having you here, using the wrong words on purpose. Poipos. I like that name. Fantastic. You enjoy your bed, and we'll see you again next time. Feel free, catch up on the video at the end of the day. Hopefully no blue smoke, because I'm rather attached to this Raspberry Pi 5. I don't think I want to damage it. All right, let us see what this little piece is. Would this be the insulation piece that they're talking about here? Let's have a look. Or is this the screen? No, this is the little screen for displaying the information, which unfortunately doesn't work when you're running Home Assistant, which is a shame. It'd be great if someone could write some code so we could run that little screen. So I'm really struggling to find the insulation. Here it is. Could this be it? This could well be the insulation, I think. What? Yes, let's pull that off there. Yes, that's the insulation. Okay, so now which side does the insulation go on? It looks to me like the insulation goes, let's pull this back so you guys can see. Which side is it going on to? It is going on to, so if we're looking at the back end, if we're looking here at, I've got the SD card mount here, it goes left of the SD card. Okay, so it's obviously going onto that piece of metal of the heatsink there. Okay, so we've got that on. Next one is the power switch. Now, I know the power switch because I've done this before, is this little guy over here. So we take our power switch. Now, our power switch, where does that go? Power switch goes onto the little, where does the power switch go? Let's see how this power switch goes. It's got to go somewhere. Let's see here. The power switch is going on the side. All right. Yes, I remember how this goes. The power switch comes in over here. It pushes into, you see down the bottom there are two little metal things. Power switch goes on there, okay? And then it basically pushes in and then screws down. I think that's it. Let's just check, have we got it right? So the power switch, do we have it the right way around? I think I've got it the right way around. So the power switch goes in there. Let's check there. We sneak it in like that. And it's somehow got to push in here. Doesn't seem to be pushing in there very nicely. Come on. Mr. Power Switch. You've got to go there. So it has got, so you see there, the power switch has got two springy bits. So if you look here, they spring like that, and that's what spring-loaded helps it to stay connected to these two little, don't know if you can see them, it's probably quite hard to see inside there, but there are two little buttons or two little holes in the circuit board that it connects onto like that. We push it down like that, and we then screw. The problem I've got is that this is very close. The heatsink is very close, and it's quite tricky to get this in here. You've got it's a bit of a squeeze, but I think it's going to work. We just got to make sure that we get the power switch connecting down the bottom there. So this is a fiddly bit. I remember this from last time. Here we go. It's sitting there, and then we've got to get our screw in. So we've got it in there. And then what we do is we get one of these screws, all right? We stick it in here, and this is going to hold our power switch over there. So we get that in there, and we screw that in like that. There we go, nice and neatly. Don't tighten these screws too much. You don't want to damaging anything. And then we do another screw on the other side over here. And then this is holding our little power supply. There we go. We connect that in like that. We screw that in, and there we go. So now our power is connected. Yes, it looks like it's sitting there nicely. Okay. So our power supply is all connected up. Okay. All right. So what do we do next? We got our power supply in. Next up, we have got the NVMe board. Okay, so the NVMe board is this one over here. As you can see, this is the beauty about this one. This allows you to create 2 NVMEs connected to your Raspberry Pi. Look at that. 2 NVMe slots, and you can just screw them in on that side. So that is really neat. Okay, so connecting this board, we're going to use the other ribbon connector, and we're going to take the ribbon connector, and that is going to go in on the side here. So the ribbon connector is down here. So we've once again got to pop this out here, I assume. How does this work? Or is it out already? I think it's out already. So with this one, which way is it going to go? We've got to make sure with these ribbon connectors that you always connect them the right way, or otherwise they are not going to work. I think, let me just get some water. Got a bit of a gruff voice here this morning. So we've got to make sure these are the right way around, otherwise they are not going to work. So what I'm going to do, the black, okay, there we go. So that goes in there. The black's got to be facing up on the other one. So we bring this in. We slide that in over there, and no, maybe we didn't open this up correctly. What are they saying? You've got to, it flips up. Looks like this one is a flippy uppy. There we go. Okay. So it flips up. Flips up like that. You slide it in, and it flips down. So there we go. We've got that connected, all right? And then what we're going to do with this is we're going to connect it on the other side to, which one is it going into? It's got to connect into the slot, which is just the others. It was that one. Silly me. It's already there. Okay, so we'll just flip that up again. Right. It's this one that's going in there. So there we go. We'll just flip that in there like that. All right. And we'll close that little guy. And there we go. So that is connected. All right. Now we're going to screw this down. So this has got to come here like that. And your 2 NVMEs are going to be connecting like that. Okay. So it's going to go on these 2 standoffs. Right. It's going to sit down there like that. All right. Just make sure when you bring it in here, it's got to connect. I don't know if you can see there, but there's those 4 pins that are sticking up, which is bringing the power up there. And there we go. It's slotted in there nicely. So we've got our ribbon connector, and we've got our power coming up there. And then all we do is we're going to use some of our famous little black screws that we've got so many of here. Luckily, we're going to put some more of those in there. Okay. All right. Let's get some more of these black screws and tighten this little guy down so that that is all neat. All right. So, sorry if you can't see much. It's a real challenge to try and get these screws in. There we go. Right. So we've got that screw in there next. All right. 49 minutes. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Hope you're enjoying this different type of live stream today. Okay. So that is there. Next up, we're going to put our next little screw in just over there. And then our NVMe boards are all ready, so we can connect a dual NVMe to this Raspberry Pi. Now, I'll probably not use this Raspberry Pi for a Home Assistant. I might use this for something else, seeing as it's got quite a lot of power. I'm not sure yet. If you guys have got any idea what is a good use for a Raspberry Pi 5 once Home Assistant is on a PC, let me know. All right. So we've got our NVMe boards in there. Those are connected. All right. Then we would put our NVMe. So I'm not going to worry about putting an NVMe now, but you would just slot it in there and basically screw it down, and you're away with that. Okay. Optional SSD. Next up is our fans. All right. So we're now going to take our fans. We've got two of these ice cube fans. All right. We're going to connect these up. Now these go with these other screws. These are little self-tapping screws like this. So we're going to get these two self-tapping screws. Right. Well, more than two. Okay. So the fans, we just need to make sure that we put the fans the right way. Let us connect the fans in over here. So what happens now is these fans, they just get slotted in. Not sure if there's a specific way. I'll probably put them the wrong way and then have to move them. But anyway, let's just stick them in here. Be careful not to crimp the cables like that. So just line those up nice and neatly, and you can then screw that in. My screwdriver, my electric one, is probably a bit small, so I'll use one of these bigger ones that they've provided here. Really nice the way that they do supply screwdrivers in the kit here. And you have to screw these in, and these will basically cut the threads into the fan like that. All right. So these are nice little RGB fans. And I do remember from my last kit, they keep them super cool. These fans are just amazing, the power that they have. Now I'm just going to connect two screws to each because I may have to move these fans. So I don't want to be machining around too much. Okay. So there's our first fan. When we get our second fan, we'll just stick that guy in there like that. So they fit in pretty neatly, and we'll just get some screws. Stick that little guy in there. So where's everyone else from? I think we had some people from Europe, but it seems like it's getting quite late there. Rest of you guys, where are you from? Let us know. Is it pretty warm? I'm sure most of you are in summer at the moment, unless there's any Kiwis joining in winter here in New Zealand. All right. So there we go. We've got our, we might have put this the wrong way around. Now, I've just noticed something. These fans actually need to go the right way around, and it looks like the ice cube label needs to come the inside. So I'll need to remove this one, stick it the other way around. All right. So we'll take this one out and we'll just swap it around. I think I had it the wrong way around. All right. So just remember, the ice cube logo needs to be facing upwards. All right. Just make sure you don't damage these little cables over here. Get that in like that. We'll stick that in and get our screws in from the back side. Okay. So we've got these little self-tapping screws. We'll just stick them in from the bottom there. There we go. Put our self-tapper. There we go. That's nice and neat. I do like the way these kits are put together. They are pretty well made. Again, not quite sure what went on there. I lost you for a minute, but I hope you're all there and still watching. Just my screen crashed for a sec there. Having a bit of fun with my computer at the moment, not sure why. Okay, so we've got the two fans installed there. There we go. Let me just go to the chat. Live stream chat. All right. Okay, so we're still at... That's all good. Okay, so we've got our fans in now. There we go. Optional camera module. I don't have the camera, so I'm not going to worry about that. I/O expander. Okay, so that's our last little hat we've got here. All these hats come along with the system. Right, so this is our input-output expander. And what this also has, if you look here, is a little IR receiver as well. So you could use this for, you could use a controller to actually control your infrared. Use the infrared controller to control your Pi if you wanted to. Okay, so we've got the IO expander. The IO expander is where the two fans plug into. Okay, there we go. Fan 1 and fan 2. Now, where's the IO expander? It's going onto there. So typically, looks like I've put the fan the wrong way. I think the two fan cables need to be on the other side. I had a feeling I might do that. But anyway, it's a quick fix. We'll just swap this fan around for the third time. That's okay. These fans are pretty easy just to move around. So we'll just pull this off. So just remember, when you're installing these fans, the two cable pieces need to be on that side. So we'll just shift them around like that, and then they'll be able to reach the IO controller board, which is controlling these two fans. So just bear that in mind so you don't make the same mistakes as what I have. Always good for me to make the mistakes. All right. So next week I'm off on travels again around the country, going down to Hamilton and then to Tauranga. So a busy week, but I will be back at the end of the week and back to create more content for you next weekend. So got some nice new things that have come in, some nice new products we're going to be having a look at. But as always, you guys, it's always up to you. Please let me know, what sort of products are you interested in seeing? Is there anything that you would like me to test out on this channel and tell you what it's like? Just let me know. Okay, so these two go in over here like this. Once again, these are quite neat. They are connectors, just connecting like that. The other one, and they have their way of going, so you can't put them the wrong way. The other one goes in there like that, I think. Is it? Are we getting it in the right way? We'll soon be telling if it doesn't want to fit. I think it's the other way. There we go. All right. So we've got our two fans connected, right, to our I/O board. Okay. So what happens next? We've got our connections, I/O board, I/O board. So we've got our fans, we've got our I/O board, but there's nothing to connect that to. That's interesting. There is no, there don't seem to be any standoffs or anything. The I/O board just sits on top like that. Okay. So the I/O board sits loose. So basically what we've got to do now is we've got to plug the I/O board into here. So the I/O board is going to sit, I'm guessing it sits this way, yes. So the I/O board is going in there like that onto the Pi. But there's two sides. So which side is it? That's a very good question. Let me see if I can find out which way it's going to go. Okay. The I/O board, there's two ways it could go. No, there's only one way. That's the female. The other one's a male. Silly me. Okay, there we go. So it goes in there like that. It one lines up quite nicely. Okay. And then we just got to give it a bit of a push. There we go. It goes on nice and neatly. Okay. So the I/O board is all sorted. Now, what's next? I/O board is done. I expander board. The screen. Okay. Here's our little screen. So the screen we need to connect up to, where does the screen go? Screen is connecting up to the I/O board. Is it? Is it the I/O board? Oh, that's a very good question. Where is this little screen going to be connecting up to? The screen. Yes, the underside of the I/O board. There it is. I just couldn't see that. There we go. The underside of the I/O board. So once again, we want to clip this out like that. And then the screen is going to go in there and it's going to be fitting on like that. Just pop that in. Oh, a little bit fiddly, these little ribbon cables, but once you get them in, they are nice and well connected. All right, so we just slip it in there. Oh, no, that wasn't right. Probably needs to go in a little bit further. Let's just check to see that it's going in the right way. We wouldn't want the screen to be the wrong way, and then it wouldn't fire up. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's in. Screen is in. Now what we do is we line everything up, if I can remember correctly. All right, so that's all connected. Screen is connected. We stick the screen on. So what happens now is, how does this fit together? Yeah, that's going to fit in like that. All right, so that's going to go on there. This guy is going to go on. Oh, this is getting a bit tricky now. Let's just see here. So the screen is flapping all over the show. We want to make sure that we line this up now properly without damaging anything. This is always the tricky bit, is right at the end, is to get everything to fit together nicely. Okay, so let's just see what's going on. Okay, well, an easy way to line it up is to line that up at the back there. There we go. So that's pretty easy. Ah, there we go. And now our screen's flipping around there. So that's fine. Line the back two up there. All right. Some more of our screws. We'll just line that up. Oh, we lost a screw. We just line those up there. And we'll get our little screws coming in there, which is now going to hold that together. Right. Get Mr. Screwdriver. That's now disappeared. There we go. That can just get that in there. Here we are. Get another screw. And then our board is starting to look like a computer at last. Well, it's certainly gone together a lot more quickly than the first one. The first one was a little bit challenging, but you just have to follow the instructions and you will get there. All right. So that's all working. Now what we do, we just take this, the screen, and there's a 3M pad on the back here. Ah, that's very interesting. I've obviously put this the wrong way around because that's sitting the wrong way around. So I'll have to remove these again. This is pretty normal for me. So I'll have to remove these two little screws because I put the screen in the wrong way and it wouldn't have been working. We'll just pull these two screws out quickly and we'll swap that ribbon connector around for the screen, which will get that working. We'll just pop that off there and we'll just swap the ribbon connector around. Just have to slide that out quite carefully there. And we'll just switch this, pop this out, put it in the other way, and then we'll be in business. Now, the screens look pretty awesome when you connect them to the Raspberry Pi OS. But unfortunately, if you're running Home Assistant, the screen will not do anything unless someone's really clever and they can write some sort of a script that can allow you to use one of these screens with Home Assistant. Yeah, that would be fantastic if you could, because it's a shame not to have that little screen firing up and looking beautiful as it should. All right, so let's get this back together now that we've sorted that screen out. So we're just, easy way is always just to line up the back pieces over here. Right, come on. It's being a little bit fiddly. There we go, there we go, there we go. It's almost there, it's almost there. Here we are. Okay, we've got it in there. Just put our two screws back over here now. There we are. We're almost there. Fantastic. I see we've got some new people online. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is not my normal live stream. This is a slightly different live stream here. Oh, there we go, Bobby. Display screens in ESP Home. Yeah, fantastic, guys. Well, there we go. So maybe you can do something with ESP Home and control that little screen. Yeah, let us know what you think, guys. That would be great to have the little screen functioning with the display of the Pi telling us the things. All right, so there we go. All we do now is we stick our screen with the back of the 3M tape. So we'll just pull the 3M off over there. All right, and we just position this nice and neatly on the, got those little positioning things there. Just position it nice and neatly. Oh, I've got it a bit skew. All right, there we go. My screen is on there. It's slightly skew. See if we can, oh, all right, it's come up. Let's see if we can get it a bit straighter. Yeah, it's going to be a bit ugly if it's not straight, isn't it? So let's try and get it nice and straight. There we go. Right. So our screen is on now. We'll do the little peel. There we go. Right. So that's on. Now, what is our last few steps here? We've got our power button. All right. So our power button, nice little neat press button. Power button goes in here. Just pull your little, do this over here like that. All right. Just pull your power button off. Pull a little ring off. All right. And put it through there so that your power button is going to hook up. So, question is, which way does the power button go in? I bet you I get it wrong the first time, but let's see. You never know. Maybe I'll just surprise you guys and get it right. Okay, so Pironman, which way does the power button go? So Pironman 5 is facing up like that. Pironman 5 with that. So it's got to be the other way. All right. Stick that in there. We've got our power button in. Stick that on there. There we are. Wire that up. Just screw our little screw on there. All right. So we've got that on. Power button is on now. Silicon pad. All right. So next up, this is basically where does the power button connect to? Let us see the power button, number 25. 25, the power button, the nut, connects to, it's the underside, I think, of the NVMEs, is it? No, maybe not. Where does that little power button connect to? Just having a look here for you guys. The power button goes through there, comes down there. Is it going onto the Raspberry Pi? Where is my power button connecting in? Anyone have any ideas where the power button goes? I'm not finding any joy here. Power button, it's showing there's a screw there. You want to have a close look here? So you've got the power button coming along here, and it's showing it pushing in somewhere, but I can't tell where. Oh, it looks like it's going onto the board there. The NVMe board is. Oh, no, there it is. There it is. That's the little point there. Okay, I've got it. Don't worry. All is saved. Let's stick it in there. All right, so it goes in there like that. Onto the power board, of course. Where else would you put it? Where else would your power go? All right, clip that in. There we go. That's in. All right, and this can now be connected on the front here. So it's all wired up. All right. So we can now screw this on here. All right. We can screw our front cover on. Is this going to work now? Might have to bend that slightly. Looks like our front cover is going to fit on nice and neatly like that. Right, so we just need a few more screws over here. And look at that beautiful black cover. Looks really, really nice, I must say. So we'll just screw that on there. Oh, no, it needs to go in the hole. That might help. There we go. As someone was mentioning earlier, don't bring me your flat packs. Flat packs, oh my goodness. We've just got a Kia opening up here in Auckland soon, and wow, it's going to be great. I really like IKEA stuff. I'm not that bad with flat packs. I've done so many in my life. When I lived in Dubai, I had a lot of flat packs over there. Well, let's just try and get this one working nicely. Come on. There we go. That's a little bit straighter. Right, we've got that in there. We'll stick another one in over here. And we're almost done, guys. It's looking pretty sweet. Oh, hang on. Right, looks like we might have to just get this lined up here because this is not quite lining up perfectly like what I was hoping. We might just have to do a little bit of alignment on this side to get the screw to connect. There we go. All right. Don't tighten them too much because you could crack that perspex. You certainly wouldn't want to do that at this stage. All right. So we might go really careful with this last one just to make sure we don't break anything. All right. So there we go. That's all sorted. Now we've just got our final piece over here. All right. Our final black piece, that goes down the bottom there. Not sure if it goes one way or the other. I think that's the way. There we go. All right. So we've got our last piece. Right. Let's just line it up. There we are. We'll just get a few more of these black screws. Now, there are a couple of pieces left over. Hopefully nothing too crucial. My last one worked fine, so hopefully we're not going to see any of that blue smoke that Mr. Poipos was talking about, because I do not feel like any blue smoke on my beautiful Raspberry Pi 5. Okay, so there we go. We'll stick that one in. Right, we're almost at the end now. Okay. Just line that up, and there we go. 2 more screws, and we're done. Isn't that fantastic? Thank you so much for joining me, guys. It's been quite a long live stream, 1 hour and 10 minutes, but it looks like we're all done. Bit of chit-chat, bit of fun, and we've got our little Raspberry Pi Pironman 5 all installed, all up and running. So I hope this has been fun, something different. Just a once-off this while I thought it'd be fun to do this together with you guys. So there we go. It's all done. Our Raspberry Pi Pironman 5 is all installed, all up and running. Now, all we need to do from here is to just install our SD card with our flashed Home Assistant on here, and then we can fire it up. Now, I'm not sure if I've got an SD card around somewhere. Oh, there we go. There's an SD card. Great. We'll just stick that in there. All right. Just make sure we put it in the right way. There we go. Okay. So we're all up and running. So now I'm going to power this little guy up and see what happens. So give me a sec while I just get a power cable. All right, I'm back. Okay, let's have a look. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what's going to happen. Are we going to get our Pi firing up, or are we going to get the blue smoke? What do you guys reckon? Are you ready for it? Let's do a power up of this Pironman 5. So we'll stick our power in over there and we'll see what happens. All right, we've got our little light is coming on our Raspberry Pi, so that's a good start. Click the start up button. It's interesting. Nothing is happening for some reason. Well, these are the things that happen when you're doing live streams. I'm not quite sure if perhaps I've connected one of the little cable strips the wrong way around. Could well be the problem. I think that's what it is. So I'll probably just remove the device. I think that's pretty much what the problem will be, is that I would have connected the cable up the wrong way. So I'm just going to remove a few pieces and get that cable connected the right way, and then I'm sure we'll be sorted. So let's just pull this out quickly. That is the tricky thing with those ribbon cables, is to make sure that you get them the right way around, because they can quite easily get installed the wrong way around and then the system will not operate. I'm pretty sure that what I've done is I've connected the little strip of cable the wrong way round, and that is what's causing me my problem. Let's just get this open. All right, so I need to get to that cable down there, that ribbon cable. So we need to get this one off too. All right, so we'll just take out these 4 little guys and we will turn our ribbon cable other way around and see if that solves our problems, unless anyone else has got any better ideas for where I might have gone wrong. It's pretty simple, so I don't think there's much else that I can have done wrong here. So let's just see if we can flip this around and see if this helps. So I think it's this little ribbon cable over here. I have a feeling that I have installed this the wrong way around. So what I'm going to do is just get my small screwdriver, which is just sitting somewhere over here. There we go. I'm going to use this just to lift up the little thing over here so that I can get this in the correct way around. So I'm pretty sure that this is what has caused our problems. So that one looks like it's the right way, but what about the other one? Could this other one be the wrong way around? Let's have a look, see if it could be this other one. Anyone got any good ideas about how knowing which way a ribbon cable should be installed? Because I'm pretty sure this is going to be my problem. So let's flip it up. There we go. It's in the upper position. Does it show me how to install the ribbon cable correctly? Let's see. Ribbon, ribbon, ribbon. There we go. So the ribbon cable, it's showing when you're going on the bottom piece there, it's showing that the black part is showing towards the outer side. Okay. So the black part is going towards the outer side. So let's pop that in there like that. See if we can get this working. Right. One of my problems was, of course, having this heatsink on. Did make this part of the job a lot more difficult. A lot more difficult, that's for sure. Come on, let's get him in there. See if this guy is going to be a little bit easier to play with. Okay. So it shows it lifts up, and then you've got to slip it in here. There we go. And then you've got to clip this down on each side. There we go. All right. I think that is nicely in there. So that's the right way there. Now, what about the second side? Let's see which way that is supposed to go. So the ribbon over here, right, the ribbon over here, I'm guessing, needs to go that way like that, right? So if we push it in there, the black is going to be up on this part of the ribbon. Is that correct, guys? I'm hoping so. Let's try it.